Hello. So today I wanted to start something new, kind of a new series. And I'm really just ripping off the kill counts. So if you've if you've watched Dead Meat, the kill counts, they're pretty popular in the horror sphere. I want to do that but with books. So I decided to try it out with something that would be pretty quick to read. And in doing so, I picked something where nobody fucking died. But we're gonna go through it anyway, like somebody does. But that is Last Chance by R.L. Stine. So, Last Chance is the fifth book in the senior series by R.L. Stine, who is, of course, the man behind Goosebumps, Fear Street, etc. So, our synopsis on the back reads Mr. Morley is so nice when he catches Mary O'Connor stealing a test. He doesn't tell, he doesn't fail her, she just has to do him a favor. But helping Mr. Morley isn't as easy as it seems. In fact, it could kill her. So, we've got a little bit of an intro to our main character here, and our main character is Mary O'Connor. So, that would be this young lady right here. And so her likes are running, ripped jeans, and hairspray. Her dislikes are not, she remembers not being invited to Trisha's party and rat poison. We missed something. She hates social studies, rich girls, and cliques, and her quote is just say no. So, we open up with Mary talking to a counselor. So we already know that she's troubled. And if we'd read the first four books in the series, we would know that a little bit more, but we haven't. So we're just going to have to remember that she's troubled. She had a criminal history because over the summer she was caught shoplifting jeans and some jewelry from a very hip store. She's got 2 months left of counseling and then she's home free. But everybody, she feels like all the teachers really see her as this very troubled girl that she's really not going to amount to much. And it's a tough time for Mary. So she decides to go to the mall with Stephanie, even though she hasn't been there since she shoplifted a couple months ago. And especially she hasn't been to the store Rage. And Rage is the store that she shoplifted from. But they go. She's got a lot of anxiety. And so we do get our first attempted little scare here. So I'm going to read out a little bit. Suddenly, Mary froze again. Someone's staring at me, she thought. Mary lifted her head. She gazed into cold, dark eyes. Someone is staring at me. It was the blonde girl. She started walking toward Mary and Stacy. Mary stared at the floor. She could feel her cheeks flaming. Girls, the sales clerk said. Quick, to the back of the store. Hurry up. Excuse me? Stacy asked her. Mary's heart was pounding. She kept her eyes on her sneakers. Swallow me up, floor, please, she thought. The back dressing rooms don't have a line, the sales clerk continued. So it was just a fake out like Stine does a lot of the time. She does also see a hot blonde boy. And he's so distracting that she almost shoplifts again. Like, he is so cute, and she just walks right toward him that she almost shoplifts again. So, we do then cut to the next day back at school, and we learn that they do have a new social studies teacher this year named Mr. Morley, and everybody likes Mr. Morley. Mr. Morley is the cool teacher, and as somebody who has been the cool teacher for the last 4 years, I get it. You know, I get why you like Mr. Morley, because I was Mr. Morley, like, minus the terrible things. So he's hot for a teacher, is spelled out in here. And when Mary goes to talk to him about her midterm and everything, she's a little bit frazzled because she saw her ex-boyfriend Gary making out with Trisha Conrad. We also learned that her dad has been gone for the last 5 years. It's just her and her mom. So, they're talking about this. They're talking about the midterm. Mr. Morley has it out on his desk. And she's talking about how if she doesn't get a good grade in this midterm, she won't be able to run track. And she's very, very excited about running track. She really likes track. And she really wants to stay eligible. So he goes to go grab something. And that midterm is sitting right there. And so she steals it. And he doesn't catch her. He thinks that she does. But he doesn't catch her. Or so she thinks. So she goes, she takes the midterm. She thinks she aced it because she knows all the questions beforehand. And he reveals that he did catch her the entire time. So she goes back to talk to him. And he says that he won't tell as long as she does something for him. And this is where the real kind of horror of the book starts. The horror of this book is just how well done this kind of abusive grooming relationship is. Like, it is very, like, overt. And I have a couple things tabbed here that I'm going to read out. But her first task, because of course there's more than one, is to take back a jacket that one of the other teachers borrowed from Mr. Morley, Mr. Wise. So she has to go into his classroom and take that jacket back. Naturally, she gets caught, and he accuses her of trying to steal his jacket because of course it wasn't Morley's jacket in the first place. And so she is terrified that he's going to tell the vice principal, because again, she's got a history of stealing, and she thinks that he is going to get her life ruined, basically. So she goes back home, she looks up Morley's name in the phone book, because these books take place in the 90s, and because they were written in the 90s. And she notices that she gets his phone number. He lives on Fear Street, which is a big thing in R.L. Stine books. So we do have some more typical grooming behavior from him, where he's really making a lot of excuses. He invites her into his home office, which is a big thing. And so we're gonna read a little bit about that. The main thing I want to stress here is just how she feels about Mr. Morley, because it is actually terrifying. So Mary slid into a seat by the window. Mr. Morley's handsome face popped into her mind. His handsome, kind face. Sometimes Mary wished her own father was like Mr. Morley, but Mary hadn't seen her dad in almost 5 years. Out of nowhere, Mary felt the sting of tears. She didn't know if she'd ever see her father again. How could he just leave us like that, Mary wondered. Can he never come back? Fear Street, the bus driver called out. Mary dragged her palm across her eyes to wipe away the tears. I bet Mr. Morley would never do that to his daughter if he had one, Mary thought. But Mr. Morley wasn't even married. I wonder why. Maybe he just hasn't met the right woman. So here we've got, she's thinking of him like a father, which is good. I'm glad it's not a different way, because he is young and hot. But she is really wondering why he doesn't have a wife. And the answer is because he's a creep and a psychopath. Anyway, she gets to his house and the blonde guy's there, which is a pleasant surprise for Mary, because she really took a liking to him. We learned his name. It's Rob Emerson. And we learned that he does some odd jobs for Mr. Morley, which is a little weird, that we have this random high school graduate living in your house doing odd jobs. But it's whatever. And he is about to tell her something about Morley. But then Morley comes home, so he doesn't say anything. So the second task, he doesn't outright tell her to do, but it's pretty clear that he wants her to do it, and she is like, I gotta do this for him. So there's another teacher named Mrs. Wilson at the school that Morley does not get along with. And what Mary thinks it is because Wilson is a very old school by the books teacher, and none of the kids like her, and all the kids that are in her class wish they were in Morley's class, so Mary thinks that Wilson's jealous. And so Morley's just like, that's what it must be, because she's writing this letter to the Board of Education about me, and I shuddered to think what it must be about. She came in, she was yelling about it, she put it in her desk, and so Mary thinks in her head, I gotta get that letter. Between all this, we do have some tension. There's some tension between Rob and Mr. Morley. Like, there's something weird going on there between them. And then she has a date with Rob, and he does some interesting things too, because they go to this pizza place, and she thinks that he dines and dashes. And this freaks her out, because again, history was stealing. We never learned if he actually dined and dashed. He said that he didn't, but I don't really trust Rob. So I don't really think that, I think he did dine and dash. I think they did. So that is left up in the air. This book is just made to just stress Mary out at every possible turn. There's no death, but there's plenty of stress. Then she does go and she steals the letter. And I'm going to read here. She gives the letter to Mr. Morley. Just listen to this, Mr. Morley said, and this letter is just the beginning of the evidence I've collected against Donald Morley, he read, his pointer finger racing down the second page of the letter. Keep in mind that Mary hasn't seen a single inch of this letter. I've written 2 other letters documenting the case against Mr. Morley. Mr. Morley dropped the letter on his desk. I can't read any more of this, he said, shaking his head. I can't believe she's out to get me this way. I had no idea. What 2 other letters is she talking about? Mary asked. I searched her desk, and this was the only one. She added, pointing to the letter. I'm not surprised, Mr. Morley said. She probably thought I'd try to get this letter from her desk. Mr. Morley slammed a fist down on the desk again. Mary jumped back, startled. She must be keeping the other really damaging letters at home. Those other 2 letters must be even more dangerous. Mary was shocked at his anger. His anger was definitely justified, but she'd never seen Mr. Morley this way before. Mary, you said you wanted to help, the teacher said, gazing at her. And now I really do need your help. Of course, Mr. Morley, Mary said slowly, but what could she possibly do? She stood there thinking hard, but came away with nothing. I wish I could think of a way to help him, but those letters are in Mrs. Wilson's house. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing either of us can do. Mary stared at the floor, feeling ashamed. After all he's done to help me. Mary, Mr. Morley said, I need to get my hands on those letters. You understand that, right? Yes, of course, Mary said. I need you to get them for me, the teacher said. And so here we're getting more enticements to do more and more legal things. Mary stared at him, her mouth gaping open. But Mr. Morley, she said, feeling confused, how can I get them when they're in her house? Mr. Morley stared back at Mary. He didn't say anything for a moment, and here is where it really twists on him. This is where Morley starts showing his true colors to Mary. How do you think you're going to get them? He asked. I don't know, Mary replied, a spiral of panic growing in her stomach. What was he trying to say? You're going to break into her house and find those letters, Mary. That's how. Mary gasped. Her mouth hung open. I must have those letters, he said coldly. But I... Mary shut her mouth. He must be kidding. This must be a joke, she thought nervously. Mr. Morley's eyes narrowed. I've kept my part of the bargain, Mary, he said. I spoke to Mr. Wise for you. And here, in my secret heart, I feel like he killed Mr. Wise because we never see him again, but we don't get confirmation or anything, so I don't count him as dead. Mary stared at the teacher, trying to think of what to say. Mr. Morley, I really want to help. I swear I do. But I can't do what you're asking. I can't break into a house. Mr. Morley frowned. I'm sorry to hear that, Mary, he said, his voice very soft. Because in that case, I'll have to tell the principal that you cheated on your midterm. And so here we've got lots of threats and everything. So she goes to break into Wilson's house because she feels like she has no choice. Rob does come, and he tries to stop her. He doesn't try very hard, and he ends up going in with her. And so they find out with the letters that Morley is a murderer. And so technically, if I wanted to, I could say that we've got 2 dead on the kill count, but we never meet these people. I'm trying to use Janice's rules here. So we never meet these characters. We don't ever even see a body. We just see a letter that says he killed 2 students. So I'm not counting them as kills. They escape the house, Rob is caught, and they don't escape with the letters. So Morley is very upset about this because his whole thing was he wanted her to get the letters so that he wasn't sent to jail. And so he goes for her, and we do see again a little bit more of his abusive side here. Mr. Morley's fingers dug into her arms. You're hurting me, Mary shrieked. She twisted, trying to break away, but the teacher gripped harder. You're in worse trouble than you know, he whispered. Please, Mary begged. Please let me go. I've done everything I can to help you, Mary. I've tried to help you keep your academic eligibility and stay out of trouble, but all you've done in return is disappoint me. And so here she's even blaming her. He's blaming her. She's blaming herself. I'm sorry, Mr. Morley, she murmured, her eyes filled with tears again. She could feel her knees shaking. So she goes to track practice. She's really off her game. This track subplot is really not very interesting, and so I'm not going to talk about it very much. It's not very in the book very much. And so then he gives her 4th task, and this 4th task has nothing to do with the other ones. So he says that he's got this sister who has these 2 kids, a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, and she leaves them alone to go on dates all the time. And so he wants her to take these kids out of the house and take them to an abandoned house. So when their mom comes home, she's like, oh God, my kids, they're gone, and she doesn't leave them there anymore. Mary's a little bit iffy about kidnapping some random woman's kids, so she tries to go tell her counselor, and the counselor doesn't believe her because nobody believes Mary because she's a shoplifter and poor. So she goes, she gets the kids, their names are Jimmy and Judy, and she takes them to this house, and she finds out that according to Jimmy, they don't have an Uncle Donald. She just kidnapped some random woman's kids. However, they were left home alone. So I'm like, yeah, she kidnapped some random woman's kids, but really it's not. They were left home alone. They were probably safer with her than home alone. Rob is out of jail. Morley bailed him out, and so he comes. He tells Mary that Morley's crazy and that they really have to, they're gonna have to kill him because they don't have anybody who will believe them. Wilson is leaving town because she's terrified after somebody broke into her house. We still hear nothing more about Mr. Wise. I do feel like somebody killed him, but we don't know anything more about him. Rob's like, we should kill him. There is a reference to Jennifer Fear's dream, and since we're not doing these in order because I don't have all the books, I'm not going to talk about that, but that is a big kind of theme throughout the series, that there was this dream that all these seniors were in coffins, so it's a whole thing that they're all going to die. So Rob gives Mary this instant poison that can be used to look like a heart attack, and so she is going to go to Morley tomorrow at 1 and put some in his coffee and kill him. So it works out well because Morley doesn't want to talk to her. So she goes at 1 after track practice. She goes a little bit early and she sees this notebook. And this notebook details all of the plans in very neat handwriting because, you know, it's the 90s, and instead of like having this on a Word document that's password protected, we just write it in a notebook. We write all of our evil plans in a notebook. And so she puts poison in his cup. So he comes, he drinks it, and he collapses. And oh God, this would be a death, but it's not. So. You'll have to excuse me for a few minutes, Mr. Morley said. I want to brew another pot in the teacher's lounge. Why don't you sit here and think about what you owe me? I'll do that, Mr. Morley, she said. And when I come back, Mr. Morley stopped speaking. He clamped a hand over his forehead. Mary saw the beads of sweat. I don't feel so well. Mary stared at him. She didn't move. His legs buckled and he crashed against the desk. He barely managed to stand. Mr. Morley, are you all right? Mary asked, trying to sound concerned. I feel very, he replied, but he did not finish the sentence. Finally, a look of panic swept across his face. My coffee, he exclaimed, his voice thick. But how, you poisoned me. Suddenly, Mr. Morley's eyes closed and he pitched forward onto the desk. Mary stood. Then she pulled the teacher onto the floor behind his desk. So it turns out, because Rob comes, and he sees Mr. Morley, he's like, I gave you water. Like, what did you do to him? And so, apparently the whole twist at the end, because it's R.L. Stine, so he always has a twist, is that Mary, as soon as she got the poison, she dumped it down the drain. She was like, I'm not going to kill somebody, but she did want to scare them. So what she did, she put, her mom's a nurse, and so she put this, she roofied him. She roofied Mr. Morley. And she roofied Rob, because when she read in the notebook, she read that Rob was actually a part of this. Rob was never her boyfriend. Rob was always working for Mr. Morley the whole time. And so she leaves him there, roofied on the floor, and goes to the mall with her friend Stephanie. And we never, ever, we don't get any closure. It's possible that she killed them. It's possible that she actually did kill them, and she just doesn't tell us, but she doesn't tell us. And we don't have book 6, so we don't know. But basically, this book had 0 kills. There were 0 kills. I do write down all my notes in this decomposition notebook. This is not sponsored. I just bought them for the first time because I've been interested in them for a while. Because they are this notebook company that uses 100% recycled pages. They're made in the USA. And I've been interested in them a while. I've been getting their emails for a while, and I just recently bought a handful of them, and they're expensive. I mean, they're expensive notebooks. This is a $10 fucking notebook. But I really like them. They're really well made, and just writing on it was so nice. Writing with this, with a Sharpie S gel, it's beautiful. It's beauty in all of its words. So yes, this is my new kill count notebook. I hope to do more of these. I hope to do some of these where people actually die. That would be nice. And then I could do a golden chainsaw and dual machete, and that would be cool. And how many kills per pages. But this one just was not it. I gotta do some extreme horror with this. I know I have some Aaron Beauregard in there. I gotta pull one of those next. We'll have deaths there. But yeah, that's my first kill count. I picked a short one because I wanted to be able to do it one day. But now it's summer. It's summer. So that means the next one maybe won't have to be quite that short. But yeah, that is everything. I will talk to you later, and goodbye.